This is Life's a Pitch TV. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lackens, all about hearing. Forward Floors, Ginger Pickle, Fred Olsen Logistics, The Dove, Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, Venue 16, The Hudson Group, Come Hither Design, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and Suffolk Sound. Our charities this year: Cancer Support Suffolk and the Ipswich Town Community Foundation. Welcome to the DPS Tech Arena for today's episode of Life's a Pitch TV. I'm your host, Mark Murphy. Let me introduce you to the team. It's Terry Butcher. There's Russell Osman. And there's Chambers. On technicals, we have Richard, John and Mark backstage. And our floor manager, Leslie, is poorly today, so she's watching at home, so give her a little wave and go, "Oh, she's more ill than that." Oh, much ill than that. Our capacity crowd is huge tonight. Welcome to the Churchman's Stand, sponsored by John Keeble Cars. And the North Stand, sponsored by Ashford Wright. We're on YouTube, we're on podcast, and we're on Suffolk Sound. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like the channel and smash that subscribe button as well. We would love to get more subscribers, lots more likes, and comment about the show on there as well. Coming up tonight, we've got the Table Footy Challenge on this day in ITFC history. Ask the Legends. We're just getting very, very close. Player of the Week, all sorts of things coming up. But we do need to have a special guest this week. And would you please put your hands together for Paul Goddard? It's nice to get you here off the golf course.
Yeah, that's true. I've had a few holes today, and so's Russell, by the way.
Yes, you are quite frequent golfers, the two of you.
Yes, now and again we have a little swing together, don't we?
We do.
Steady on now, Russell.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of show, Russ.
It could be. Just because Leslie's not here, Mark.
No, I know. It's great to have you on the show. It's been a great year last year for us and a fantastic year this year. And of course the year before as well for Town. So 2.5 years really of success. Do you get much chance to watch them these days?
Yeah, I can at certain times within my role in my job, but not all as often as I would like. And I tend not to watch too many first team games. I watch a lot of youth and reserve games.
What's that for? Is that for scouting?
Yeah, for an agency. I work for an agency. I've been nearly 20 years working for an agency now. My job is to try and find young talent and then try and get them to sign with our company and then mentor them and help them through the pitfalls of being a young footballer.
You can't mention the company because there are other companies available as well, you know.
Well, I don't need to, but it's a company called Stella, but we're a very big company.
What, as in the lager, yeah? As in the lager, Stella Artois, no?
Is that the same spelling? I'm not quite sure.
Who cares when you're drunk at Stella? You don't care, really, do you?
No, but they've been around for a long time. Two Jewish men started the company, David Manasseh and Jonathan Barnett, quite a few years ago now, and we're probably one of the biggest agencies, if not in the country, in the world.
And Paul was very modest in his 20 years there, and recently, what happened to the company, Paul?
Well, like everything, it gets bought out by Americans.
For how much?
Well, they earn, my two bosses earn a lot of money each, yeah, obviously. But the mere workers, we all got a little bit, so it's nice. But it hasn't actually changed the way we work, and the Americans have left us alone, and we've got on with things. So it's not changed too much, but obviously there's probably things further down the line that will change.
For anyone that's interested, I think it was circa 900 million. I think they paid
Right,
for the
okay.
company around that.
It was a big figure.
That's big. Yeah.
I mean, the Americans are desperate to get into British football, aren't they?
They're desperate to get into everything at the moment, aren't they? In every sport, and I'm surprised that boxing has not gone there yet. But it has made a big difference to our company, future-wise. I mean, I'm pretty old now, so probably won't be doing it for too much longer. But I really enjoy it. I love watching. I love going to watch a young player play. And then go and see him again in a month's time and go, oh, he's doing this now, he's doing that. He's listening to what he's being told, and the coaching and is working, and that's what I really enjoy about the youth development.
Who have you found?
Oh gosh, Adam Alana, Luke Shaw. As you might know, the Southampton, I spent a lot of time down in Southampton. I was involved with Gareth Bale when he was with our company. Quite a few players, but we're very much a team. We look after players in groups. One player isn't solely one agent, because obviously the needs of the young player nowadays is massive, and the competition is very, very strong in our business.
So what? You obviously called Sarge. That's your nickname. How did you get that?
Sarge. So my dad ran a boys' brigade company. Do you remember the boys' brigade? Yeah, not many companies around now. I was obviously in the company, and at 17, when I made my debut for QPR, I was a sergeant. That was my rank in the boys' brigade, and it came out in the papers. I managed to score a goal. We won, and it came out the next day in the papers. Sarge, and now almost everybody in the football fraternity call me Sarge.
Yeah.
And you've just had a birthday as well.
I have.
How many days ago?
Last Saturday, and it was quite a big one, 65.
What do you mean quite a big one? We're
Join the
65.
club.
What are you on about?
But you've been there already.
We're older than you, yeah.
Yeah, we're
It
settled
just
in
seems
now.
really old. I remember thinking,
Cheers.
He's really old, yeah. Carry on anyway.
You've got that to look forward to, Chamber. Don't you start laughing.
I'll be lucky if I make it there.
Does it take you around the world, or?
it did when I was vibrant in the job and working hard. At young Connor Wickham, it doesn't always work out. You know, young Connor was super talented at Ipswich as a young lad, got a transfer to Sunderland, did little bits of good and not so good, then came back to Crystal Palace, and unfortunately got a really bad injury, and it took him a lot of operations and time to get right, and he's really struggled in his career. So it's not always like flying up, and he was. So at that point, he was on a par with Harry Kane. They were in the England same under-17 England side, and Connor had more ability than Harry Kane at that point, and it just shows you how life can be cruel at times, and the injuries he suffered have held him back. And obviously Harry has gone forward and turned out what he is now.
Does it remind you of when you were scouted? Can you remember that?
Yeah, I can. I was 11, and I was seen playing in an under-18 five-a-side tournament for the Boys Brigade, and there was a gentleman from QPR called Chris Geeler, who was really quite a famous scout for back in that day for QPR, and saw me, and I then started training. We only trained once a week, I think, back at that time, at QPR from 11-year-old.
And what about your parents? Were they involved in that process?
Yeah, they drove me there. Yeah, they had to take me up to Shepherd's Bush every week. There was no money involved, I'm afraid, back then.
So no negotiations?
No, there was
like
no
that,
negotiations at all then, no.
So you were born in Harlington?
Harlington, right by Heathrow Airport, yeah.
And does that have the QPR training ground now, is it?
It does. It wasn't at that point, Terry. It was a Ruislip, which is not too far away from where I was born, very close to Heathrow Airport. My wife was actually born on the end of runway 3 of Heathrow, so we're very, very close. But that training ground you're thinking of is still there. I think I'm not even sure who's back there now. There's another club back on that. Used to be Chelsea. Were there for a while. They're not now. Might be QPR back there. I don't know.
Because I was at Brentford for about 5 minutes as the manager, so it was difficult to train because it was right next to the runway, or just off the A4, and you had 1.5 minutes to impart your knowledge to the players before the jet came over.
Yeah.
So everybody was standing around watching this jet go over, and then you got 1.5 minutes, quick, and then the next jet came over. It was amazing.
Yeah. No, it was similar to that. That train. I don't think it was right on the flight path. I actually. I say me and my wife used to walk down that road where they used to train in from her house, and I can remember looking through. I think it was Chelsea at the time. We were training and seeing all that going on. So it's sort of really close to home.
Did you two have agents when you were playing or not?
No, well later on, probably later on.
Never had one.
Yeah, I had one that I moved up to Rangers, and eventually he came on board, and I had a bit of money, so they said, well, you put it into your pension, and I had a pension already going for Ipswich Town, so he went and put it in the new pension and got all the commission. Needless to say, I threw him out. So his name was Johnny Mack. Mac the bloody knife he was, I tell you.
Know the name.
You know the name? Yeah, bloody
know
hell.
the name well.
That name springs to mind.
What a toad he was, yeah.
I have to say, my boss.
I hope he's watching, by the way, because I'm going to get you, I tell you.
My boss, David Manasseh, is purely a genius. I've seen him been in meetings where he's talked to parents and players. He rings up or texts at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. Oh, how did Johnny under 15 do today? And they think, what are you doing worrying about an under 15? He's a multi-millionaire now. He runs this big, massive company, but he still takes a lot of care in the young players, and I really appreciate that. I think that's important. Of course, he's a shark because he has to swim in a sea where there's a lot of other sharks, but he has to look after himself, but he is a genius at the job.
What about you, Chamber? You of the era of having agents, were you?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. No, I had an agent approach me when I was 17, yeah, and I then signed with them. Fortunately, Paul never approached me, but that's another story. Yeah,
the one that got away, mate.
Yeah, well, I was sort of brought up in a way where I always felt I worked for the agent. And that was probably to my detriment at times. But no, I always had good relationships with people in general, and then agents were the same. But I always was under the illusion that you get you a move when you're playing at the level I was playing at. So that was always my main concern. I never really tried to put the pressure on anyone else to get me a move, because that's my job, if that's what I required. But yeah, it's an interesting world, and you talk about their sort of financial advice and stuff like that. And can you be 100% certain that that advice you're given is the right advice at every turn? And Paul will know from inside it that sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, and that's the people that you work with.
It's all about the reputation you build, and if you build a great reputation, then the parents especially, they're the ones that are going to say right to the sun's side.
Exactly.
But if it's dodgy, then you ain't going to get any business.
Exactly.
I think it's really important that, of course, getting a transfer and dealing with the money side of it and getting the contract sorted is the main thing. But another thing, so a few years back, we had a super little player at Ipswich, a lad called Tristan Nydem.
Yeah.
Was going to be a player, absolute guaranteed player.
Heard of him, yeah.
Was with us. We had him signed under contract. And one of the big things that David, my boss, always think is getting them insured. And of course, a lot of the young lads go, insurance, my age, what are you on? But nah. But we really insist on it. And Tristan suffered a horrible injury, broken leg, dislocated ankle at the same time. Tried to come back, couldn't get back, had operations after operations. And all that time, we had the finance people, speaking to him and giving him advice on what would happen if didn't. And in the end, he decided he couldn't carry on, and he got, looked after. I'm not saying he's fortunate. What he's one David likes, if he can, or is to cover your mortgage.
Yep. So
if you have an insurance policy that covers your mortgage, then you can turn around and go, my house is paid for. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of people would like that situation. And now Tristan is trying to forge a career in. He's got his own little coaching thing going, and and he's also working as a scout for another club.
Yeah, he's on our guest list, isn't he? At some point,
he will be in. Yeah, hopefully he'll be in. But again, it's the things that you don't see, you don't think of, in a young player, and even a parent coming into the world of football is a scary place, and you have to find the right people to represent you to do those things for you that you don't really know you need until you need them. And that is it is a massive aspect of the game. But again, we talk about Sharks. There's some very, very good ones, but there's also some very, very bad ones.
I also think back in our day, a lot of players were taken advantage of by the managers of clubs, because you go in, there wasn't as much money floating about as these days by any stretch of the imagination, but you were sort of happy to be offered an increase in your salary at the end of the year, and you think, well, could I have got more? Sir Bobby was.
So you would go in and see Sir Bobby and say, "Can I have some more money?"
See Sir Bobby, yeah. There weren't a lot of players had agents in our day, so I go in and do the deal with Sir Bobby, and I'm not saying Sir Bobby kept us tight on the money, but other managers further down the line. I mean, even when I was 34 at Southampton, I was playing for a fella called Ian Bramfoot. And I could tell you some stories about that, how I left Southampton, which would make your hair curl, Mark, if it was a bit longer.
Thanks. Harsh but fair.
But that was how he was treating an experienced pro like myself at 34 years old, what he was doing to kids at 18, 20, 25, And a lot of managers did take advantage of that.
You try getting money out of Bobby Robson. It was impossible.
Did you try then?
Oh, several times, yeah. To no avail, yeah. It was awful. It was scary. You had to walk in. It made you feel about that big, and that's quite a bit for me because I'm a bit taller than that. That big. It was awful, but we did it because it wasn't about the money. It was all about the glory and the honour, and just wanted to play for Ipswich Town Football Club, and that's what it was. So, like with QPR, you sign a contract. You don't know what the others are on. Probably not. So you just say, right, I'm happy with that. If I'm going to get more money, I've got to play well, and that'll come to you. That's what it was.
If we'd have had agents, we wouldn't have done Escape to Victory.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was close season. It was in the summer break. One had this Bobby okay as to do that. We just played, probably close to 60 games that season. Once it was done, we played 66 the following season, and that summer in between, we were out in Hungary having a right old jolly up. But if agents were involved, they'd have all taken you individually and said, well, you've got to do an individual deal with that, and probably Sir Bobby would have been cut out of it then, and then he wouldn't have given permission. Yeah. So, swings and roundabouts.
There was a lot more honesty, though, back then with the managers than there is now. And now, I mean, we're talking about Bobby Robson and John Lyles and people. These are proper people, proper, honest people. John Lyle came to my house when I was at QPR, and they'd agreed a fee, and he just turned around and he said, the first thing, he walked into my house, my wife was sitting next to me, and he just said, well, you better play bloody good, because we're spending every penny we've just earned on the FA Cup on you. And I went, oh. But he put a contract in front of me, and you sign it, because I didn't. It was obviously a rise on what I was at QPR. But he turned around to me and said, you do well, son, I'll give you a new deal every year. And I got a new deal at West Ham every season for the first 4 seasons. And that would never happen now. Never. No. But back then the managers, and John Lyle ran West Ham. He ran everything about West Ham at that time. Again, the managers don't do that now, do they? They're more coaches and that. Even to Kieran's point, he's a coach, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got people above he has to. But don't know, that, as you can sense, John Lyles and the Bobby Robsons, Terry Venables and the Dave Sextons, who all these great football people, they're also good men. Good. You wanted to work for them. You wanted to do things for them. There's not too many like that now, is there? It's a little bit more slippery.
Slippery.
So who were the big names at QPR when you went there, first of all?
Well, I came through with Clive Allen. We came through the youth ranks together. Actually, funny enough, I got sent a picture yesterday. We just won the Southern Junior Flood Cup. I think Ipswich beat us in the Youth Cup that year. But we won the Southern Junior, and there was...
That was the Lesser Trophy, wasn't it?
It was yeah, okay. The FAU Cup was the big one. A lad called Gary Wadder. There was 5 of us who had a career in that youth team, which is quite a big... Peter Hucker, goalkeeper, Gary Wadder, one lad who was probably a better striker than me, a lad called Dean Neal, broke his leg badly. And Clive Allen. So that for a youth side at QPR, any youth side, that's to get 5 come through the team is good going.
And then what about West Ham when you went there? Who was there?
Trevor Brooking, Billy Bonds. So I went there when they just won the FA Cup in '80, and had a season in Div 1 where we got promoted, and then we stepped out, and it's quite apt because someone asked me about this the other week, into the Premier League. It's first games in the Premier League, but I was 20, the same age as like Liam is now, the centre forward. I can't think Delap, yeah. But I walked out on the pitch. I've got David Cross, who'd played alongside me up front, Trevor Booking, Alan Devonshire, Billy Bonds at the back, Alvin Martin, Ray Stewart. All with international and Premier League experience, and we were back in the Premier League, and obviously, you get so much confidence. You need players that have played there.
I think we beat you 3-2 one year, didn't we? So you'll have the stats for that.
I vaguely remember.
David Cross scored both of your goals.
I remember coming to Ipswich at the end of the last game of the season. We needed to win to stay up, and we won. But I can't. I might have done it. I've lost track of them games, Russell.
You were top scorer as well, 82, 83.
Was I?
Yeah, it says down here. One of the top scorers, 82, 83. Yeah,
he's got to be right.
I scored more than David Cross, did I? He was. I always classed myself as not an out-and-out goal scorer. I sort of felt like I did more work in sort of creating goals as much as scoring goals. So.
And then it came to the 85-86 season, and you were replaced by a certain Frank McAvenny.
Yeah, first game of the season, dislocated my shoulder. I was down to play with Frank and Tony Cotty as a threesome up front. Did my shoulder first game, took 3.5, 4 months to heal. By that time, Tony Cotty and Frank had created this incredible run, goals, and it left me like on the sidelines a little bit.
So what are your feelings towards Frank McAvenny?
Yeah, I like him very much, yeah. He was just come down from Scotland. He was a bit of a Jack the Lad, playboy-y, but nice heart. He had a nice heart and a kind thing, and he had just a purple year.
That dislocated shoulder, is that why you can't get the...
That's why I can only get back to there and the backswing,
yeah.
Still sticking out. It's still bony sticking out here now.
There you go.
I mean, the reason I said Frank McAvenny is because I hate Frank McAvenny. Because up in Scotland, he's helped greatly to give me a criminal record.
Oh, what did he do there?
Well, he boxed in the Old Firm derby. He boxed Chris Wood's face, his head. So his head goes back like this. Chris got him by the throat, and just as I'm coming in to protect my goalkeeper, I mean, he must protect him really. He was a big lad, and he's released him, and I've pushed Frank Ameni, just a gentle push, about 20 yards, bang, edge of the box, and then Graham Roberts came in, and we all think that he smacked him when Frank went down. So Chris Woods gets sent off, Frank McAvenny gets sent off, I get booked, and I think Robbo didn't get booked at all. Anyway, play the game, 10 against 10. Robbo goes in goal, and we end up going 2-0 down, and then I end up getting sent off, just a second foul on the goalkeeper. So we're down to 9 men, but we draw 2-2. But I'm going on about this. About 9 or 10 months later, we end up in court. 4 of us end up in court, and I'm found guilty of a breach of the peace. Chris Woods is found guilty of the breach of the peace. Frank McAvenny gets off free, nothing wrong with him, and Graham Roberts is not proven. That stupid thing up in Scotland, not proven. So I got a criminal record thanks to Frank McAvenny, and he approached me, his agent, or sorry, to go and do a podcast with him. Oh, flipping it!
I'd have been all over that.
Shall we get him on here one week?
So what, you actually got a criminal charge against you for something that happened in the game?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What do you have now?
I thought he was quite a nice guy, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's a fascinating fact.
Well, I never got tired of kicking him when I played him, so he's perhaps got revenge for it.
Newcastle, Derby, Millwall, and you left the best till last in your Ipswich Town.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Yeah, it was good. I was struggling. Millwall, I went there for £1 million. I played 3 games. I knew it was a mistake that on the day that I went there, and actually played Derby, the club that I just left, where we'd done really well. We'd finished 5th and 6th in 2 years. And I was the old den has got a grill over the walkway. And as I walked out to warm up, someone put their arm through the grill and grabbed my shirt and ripped it off my back. And I can remember turning around looking at him, and he was like a Millwall supporter who had his face up against the thing, pushed like right on his nose and everything, and he was salivering. He said, "Goddard, get away! We don't want you here." And I thought, "Oh, I might have made a mistake here." 3 games, manager got the sack. Chairman called me in the following week and said, "You're not going to ever play for us again."
Wow!
After 4 games,
you said, "Thank you very much."
I said, "Well, you owe me a lot of money."
Well, when you went for $1 million, is that $1 million wages or $1 million fee?
The fee was $1 million.
Oh right.
Yeah. But it was a good deal, and it brought me back to London for my wife, which was important. But and it was a horrible time, and I had a chance to go to Servette in Switzerland, and I didn't go because I didn't like it, and the chairman went mad at me for that. But and then John Lahr rang me and said, "Come to Ipswich, but I can't do it now. You're gonna have to wait 3 months." So I had sort of 3 months of training with the youth team and all that game. Yeah. Until I come to Ipswich. Yeah, and then loved it.
It's a great time, wasn't it?
It was a great time. We had John was in charge. He patched together a great side. We won the league and got up, and then we managed to stay up. And it was, as we're all finding out now, staying in the Premier League is tough going, and we managed to do that for a few seasons. But I was just saying to Terry earlier, or Russell, I said, then I got to a point where I had to get there to score a goal, and I knew I had to get there, but my legs just wouldn't get there. And you just know, as a striker, you can still control the ball and do everything, but I couldn't get to be as lethal. So, but then luckily John Lahr asked me a coaching job at Ipswich, and that's when I went into the youth team set up at Ipswich.
Do you remember playing in the same team, being you?
Yeah, in what, for England or? Yeah. What, the 21s or?
No. Where did you get your full international cap?
Iceland.
Yeah.
You played in Iceland?
I played in Iceland.
Did you?
Memorable, isn't it?
Yeah. It was a memorable game, wasn't it?
Who scored the equaliser?
I know who scored because it was me.
Yeah, so 1 full cap, 1 goal.
1 full cap, 100% record, yeah.
He came on, what, after 40
Cyril,
minutes or
and Cyril Regis came off.
Yeah, Cyril came off.
Great. Cyril Regis was a fantastic man.
Brilliant fella.
Absolutely fantastic man. Came off the pitch. He'd got thigh strain, and it'd been a struggle, and he hadn't done very well. And it was really important because he had a chance to go to Spain, wasn't it? The World Cup. And he come over to me, and he knew I was going on for my debut, and he'd come over and he said something like, "Just get out there and show him what you can do." And I thought, for someone he must have been distraught at what happened to him, to come out and spend the time. And and then I ended up working with him at Stella.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good.
Top
good
man,
man.
Cyril.
What are your memories of that time at Town? Any stories that stand out from the lads at that time?
Oh,
We've had Chris Kiwami on, we've had Dozza on recently.
Yeah, I mean, we were such a different bunch of people. You know, John went to, you know, Oxford University, didn't he? And get Stevie Palmer. Was it Oxford? He got Stevie Palmer. Phil Whelan. He found players, and like the manager now, John, he made people better. Yeah. He made almost every player who wanted to learn and wanted to. You know, Mickey Stockwell, he turned into a real top, you know, busy footballer. He just improved everyone. Got me and Chris playing together as strikers. But you don't win a league, or if you're not got a spirit and a togetherness about you, and someone with, you know, bright ideas. Well, I can remember we went to Old Trafford once, where obviously Man United, big game, and he on Friday in training he went, "Boy, I'll tell you what, we're not going to play with any strikers tomorrow." He said, "Chris and Paul, Chris, you play wide left. Paul, you're playing wide right. Let the centre halves have it. Just let them come and bring it, and we'll stay solid, and then we'll break from there." And we got a draw. We drew 0-0 at Old Trafford, which was like incredible.
It was always going to be difficult for you to score, though, wasn't it? To playing with the striker.
It was, but we obviously tried to get there, but we had to be back. But it was just his innovation of different ideas that he brought to the table, which, if you're not the best side, you've got to do. You've got to find a different way of doing things.
But he understood the game, didn't he? He was a football man. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
And I'm sure the manager now is thinking about what he's going to do for the lads now, you know, because they're in a situation where they've got the way they play, and but he's going to be thinking of different ways they might be able to affect a game.
Let's talk about that now, shall we? Because Everton at home, Chambo, what do you think this weekend?
I think it's a good fixture for the lads. Again, they've had an unsettled start to the season. I think they're a good team. I think they've got a really good manager. But I think it's a game again that you look at thinking, got a great chance to go out there and bounce back from what's happened previously, and just an exciting fixture to have Everton at Portman Road. It's just,
well, yeah, that's great. The crowd will be amazing, won't they? Be a great atmosphere again. Be a great day out. How important is it that we get a win under our belt? Because otherwise, if it keeps going on and on, it's going to be a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, we mentioned this, I think, on one of our first shows. You can easily go 9, 10, 11 games without a win. It's been brilliant that we've been difficult to beat at times and got points and picked up points along the way. But yeah, the win, you have to pick up wins, and the home form is something that they'll be looking to make the major part of where they pick their points up this season. And that's a game that they'll 100% look at, thinking the start that they've had and how electric Portman Road will be after this little break.
We're all itching to get back, aren't we?
Yeah, and then everyone's looking forward to it, and I've got no doubt they won't disappoint.
What do you think, Russ?
Prediction-wise, I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory. I think we'll come out fresh, revitalised. I think everything from the West Ham game will be history. We'll have learned a lot from that, and I think we'll come out on the front foot and just get on top of Everton quickly, and with the firepower we've got up front at the moment, I think Dilap will get on the score sheet again. But I'm a big admirer of Sean Dyche. I think he's a great lad, great manager. He'll make it difficult, but I just think we've got that win is just about there for us.
Okay, Terry?
Well, they've done well so far the last 3 games, Everton, and they're picking up points. They've got a clean sheet as well, so you can see they're on the ascendancy a little bit. Whereas after West Ham, we've just come down a bit from the draws that we had. But I still think they've got the firepower to score. Everton have got some big strong players at the back. Obviously England goalkeeper, but that means nothing, especially when he plays sometimes.
Oh, I'd get at him if I were them.
Yeah. But there's no one else.
He would drive me mad.
Yeah. So I think we've got a chance, and I think we'll score. I think we'll win 1-0. I really do. I think that it's about time we got a clean sheet, and the way that we defended against West Ham, I think when you look at the the way the goals were conceded from all departments of the pitch, you sort of think, well, they've got to buck that up first, close the door, and then go on and win because Delap is on fire. So you sort of think, well, he's the one that could open the door and win 1-0. That puts everybody with a smile on their face and obviously looking up to go forward again.
What do you think, Paul?
I love the atmosphere of the game now. It's been growing, hasn't it, over last season? Portman Road is back like a Premier League club should be before a game. My granddaughter, she's in the under-16s for the ladies, and she gets her ticket sometimes, and she wants to be here at 12 o'clock to be out on the pitch next door, because there's so much going on there for her, and she meets all her mates, and the fever that's growing is great. I think I was at the West Ham game. I went to it. We can't make mistakes. We've made too many mistakes. You can't make mistakes in these games. I'm like the lads. I think if we can stay solid, keep the mistakes off the sheet, we'll score and we'll win. And I do just worry a little bit about set pieces because that is a strength of theirs, and I'm not sure it's been a strength of ours defensively so far. But I'm sure that's something they'll think. But we're at home, and I think there's every chance we can get a win.
Wow, all unanimous then.
I started the season when I was assistant manager at West Ham with Glenn Roeder. We lost the first 4 games.
Right.
And oh my God, you imagine what it's like in London with the press, and yourself, and you're like that. And then we had a home game. I always remember in Newcastle, and Paolo Di Canio come up to me before the game and just went, "Don't worry, Paul, we will win this game, no problem." And I thought, okay, 3-0 we won. And driving home that night was a really relieved moment when you get that win, and I think we could do that this Saturday.
Yeah. You didn't have a bet, did you?
Never bet in my life, Terry.
Okay. You can't bet now, so there you go.
No, you can't. No.
Well, it's great. Fingers crossed that'll happen for us this weekend. Right, so it is time, though, on the show for the Life's Pitch TV Player of the Week, sponsored by the Dove in Ipswich. Can I throw a name in this week? Would that be okay?
Of course you can. Of course, yeah.
Amari. Assists and scoring for the under-21s. Do we agree with that? Lots of nods in the capacity crowd here. Can I throw him as our player of the weekend this week?
I've got him down.
Yeah? You'd go with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Russ?
Yep. Why not? Yeah.
He's watched nothing this weekend.
Who did you have? Did you have anyone? Did you have anyone?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Did he play this weekend?
That's why I thought I'd lob somebody in, just in case he hadn't been watching this week.
Obviously, his goal will do him the world of good.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll take that into the game on Saturday if selected.
Yes.
And he was playing on the right wing. So
there
we'll
you go.
wait and see. But there's 3 players, we talked about this before, 3 players on who think that they could play, not just he should play, but could play on the right wing. So he's got a big choice to make.
Chambo?
Yeah, I'll go with Amari because to do that at the level he's playing at is brilliant. Special mention to go to Liam Delap for his accidental on-purpose yellow card, which got him a suspension to miss the second game. And obviously Jack Taylor making his debut for Ireland.
Yeah.
So really good week for
There's
the
a
boys
lot
again.
on international duty now,
It's
isn't
fantastic.
there?
Yeah,
it's great.
Brilliant.
The person who does the sign writing on the wooden board at Portman Road is going to be fairly busy, I think, over the next few weeks and months, which is brilliant. So, Amari Hutchinson, our player of the week, everybody. Brilliant. The other big news this week is the new England manager, Terry Butcher, a German, managing the England national team. How do you feel about that?
A German in charge of it. Oh my God! It wouldn't happen in Germany that they get an Englishman to manage their team, would it? So yeah. So I mean, it can go one of 2 ways, can't it? So he certainly.
Well, obviously,
certainly. I know. I'm just stalling for time here to try and think of what I was going to say.
Yes.
No,
it's in your book.
He's got a. It's not in my book. He's got a. I don't write about Germans in my book. I tell you no. But he's obviously got a statement. He's only there for 18 months.
He's going to win the World Cup, though.
Well, if he has to, his contract just runs out anyway, so it's perfect for the FA. But I think he has the ability. He's a good coach. He likes to get on the training field and likes to work the players hard and test them all the time. And it's not just routine and the same old things. He does test them, and he makes sure that they don't sleep, they don't slip into normality sort of thing. So yeah, but he's also got the capacity to blow up and have fights with his chairman and his board and some of the players as well. So it could be interesting.
You got a bit of German in you as well.
No, I haven't got any German in me at all. No, thankfully, no.
What do you think, Russ?
I'm a little bit surprised and a bit disappointed. It's a bit of a kick in the teeth for a lot of good English managers that are out there at the moment. Eddie Howe, even Graham Potter and Sean Dyche. You work hard, you do stuff for the FA, the League Managers Association, you give them all your backing and everything, and then they go and appoint somebody from abroad, which seems a little bit of a surprise to me.
It's all sorry, Chamber. It's always, you look at the coaches coming through. It says that we haven't got good enough coaches coming through the system, and despite all the money that they're thrown at the St George's Park and everything else, we haven't got the people that we feel are right to step in there. The Germans always seem to have that, or they seem to have good managers that can step in. But why are we at this situation? I don't know.
I disagree with some of that, to be honest.
That's a shock. Come on, Chamber.
I'm learning from the master.
Get it out there.
I think the England manager's job is a lot to do with timing. I think we've got a lot of good young English managers, but I don't think any of them are at a stage where they would want to take the job. I think Gareth Southgate fell into the job and sort of grew into that role. And I think Tuchel is at a stage where he needs a break from the day-to-day rigours of things that have obviously tipped him over the edge. He's got good pedigree. He's got a certain way of playing. And I think it'll be, hopefully, a breath of fresh air from the disappointment that we've had for so long.
Well, let's hope so. Sarge?
I wonder if we'd have had the same conversation if Pep had been given the job. I think everyone would be going, wow, yeah. Of course, we're all a bit disappointed. I'm not sure any of those English managers deserve it yet. They've not won anything.
Yeah. But are they better than Tuchel?
No, I don't think so. I think we're all players. I mean, we're not. If we were playing in that England squad, we ain't going to worry. We wouldn't be worried. We've got a German manager. We'd want to know what his ideas are and how he was going to coach us and how we were going to play. And if he's that positive and he's that good, which his record shows that he wins things, as a player, I think they'll get behind him and they'll be good. But I don't think any of those other England coaches, even though I mean, if it had been another 18 months, Kieran might have been one of the ones talked about. And then you never know, do you? But I think it's him. But this, obviously, you've got. Is he going to sing the national anthem and all this? I mean,
a load of nonsense.
We've got more important things to worry about than that,
We'll see how he does. Wish him all the very best, of course. Right, time for Ask the Legends, sponsored by Seckford Golf Club. Here comes Simon from Seckford Golf Club, and it is at the moment, I think I'm right in saying that, Chamber, you got a point for Terry last week, didn't you?
Well done, Chamber.
Yeah,
top man.
I might take it back, though, to be honest.
Russell 5.5, Terry 4.5. So, Sarge, Chamber, feel free to help them or hinder them on this one. What's the question this week, Simon?
Okay, everybody. So, Ipswich played at Everton, we talked about them earlier, on the 30th of September 2000 at Goodison Park. Town won 3-0. Let's hope that can be repeated on Saturday. But what was the attendance for the game in the stadium? So the year was 2000
at Goodison Park.
Goodison Park.
Russell's first this week.
Yeah.
What was the attendance?
Crikey.
We could be here some time at this rate.
Oh, Simon. 34,000.
34,000. Okay. Higher or lower, Terry? Are you getting help from Sarge and Chamber, or
34,000 was on my tongue.
Right?
I don't know why.
Yeah. I would say higher.
Higher. you sure that's your final answer?
No, not really, but I'll go for it.
Okay.
32,597.
Well done.
Every time I've got to make a decision.
Well, I gave you an option to change.
It's not your fault. I'm just saying I picked the wrong one. Picked the wrong choice. So thanks,
So at the
Simon.
moment, it is Russell 6.5, Terry 4.5.
Well done. Well done.
I won't go through all the details, but we've got 7 games coming up that are all changed for television. I know lots of people have made plans over the Christmas and New Year. We haven't got a game on Boxing Day, for instance. So that's the joy of television, isn't it?
Wow.
7 games.
Awesome.
Means we'll all have to be at home on Boxing Day now. Damn.
I'm available.
So those are all on the club website. We've got an extra special guest tonight. Nigel's here from Combat to Coffee. Come on, Nigel, come over to the microphone. Give him a round of applause. So if you go down to Portman Road, you'll sample some of the fantastic Combat to Coffee coffee. You've got to deal with the team at Portman Road, haven't you?
Hopefully it's fantastic. We're certainly selling quite a bit there on match days, which is really good. And hopefully we'll continue to sell more as the cold weather comes in.
Yeah, let's hope so. Chamber was running the half marathon, I think, for you a few weeks ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks, mate. That was brilliant. We had a team of 15 do it. And it was good crack, wasn't it? We had a really good time, and it raised $7,500.
Brilliant.
And for the project, that's amazing. And there was a good buzz, and they want to do more as things progress. So thanks again, Chamber.
And Terry's patron.
That's all right. I need
Yeah, but I
I need the $7,500 for a new knee though. Is that all right?
Yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was awesome though, just to do it for. To
You're
help your
clutching
mates.
a beer. Tell
I
us
am
about this
clutching
beer.
a beer. So, and you've mentioned Terry's a patron for Combat to Coffee, and we're doing a special beer with Woodford's Brewery, and it's called Stand Proud and Stout. It's a coffee beer. It's the season for stout, and we're using this as a fundraiser for the project. And we have 3,000 numbered bottles to sell, which has been endorsed by Terry, and it's about Remembrance Month, November. And it's remembering people struggle with their mental health from the military, families struggle with mental health, the journeys that some of these people may go through. And we want to sell with, there's a little bit of a price behind it, but it's about, if we can sell 3,000, that'll put a significant amount of money into Combat to Coffee, which can promote more outreach workers in the community. And an example, in the last 4 months with the foundation, we've had over 210 different people attend coffee mornings and breakfast clubs who are out there on their own, and you've been to some of them, Terry. They're good days, aren't they?
Very good days. Every bit of food is eaten, I'll tell you that, but they're fantastic. some of the plates they have, you should stick a flag on them because they're that high. But it's just really good to see.
Where do we get the beer from, Nigel?
So, right, the beer's going to be online. We've got opportunities to sell it outside the ground after the game by the Sir Alf Ramsey statue. We're going to be doing it on our website. There's going to be loads of social media coverage. And there is a special prize which will be announced. If we sell the 3,000 bottles, there is a prize on the number for the winner, which will be drawn at the end of November.
Brilliant.
Which will be great. And it links into Medals to Matches again.
Yeah, tell us about that as well.
So Medals to Matches, the 3rd year. Every year it's grown. This year we want to make it even bigger. We've started putting it out there already. We've got Hoax involved already again this year. We've changed the location only to just share the love around town a bit. If you go to the same pub, it becomes the same message. So we're going to a different bar. They've approached us and said, could we go there? And I think there's rumours that Blue Action want to be there to support us, which is great. We go. So we basically got some club tickets donated by the club. We'll be at Bar 21 this year at 12 o'clock, where there'll be last post, everything like last year. And then there's going to be a piper escort everyone to the fan zone for 2 o'clock. And then we'll all meet in the fan zone. So there's various locations that military, ex-military people, families of military want to come together, have a coffee, have a beer, have a chat. That's the important thing. And if people need help out there, that's going to be a real default place to come. And Russell and Terry have agreed to come this year as well again.
Yeah, we were there last year. It was brilliant, wasn't it? It was really good.
Can't remember it.
No, that's very good, yeah.
And just to let you know, Dave's coming again this year.
Dave?
Oh no.
Where's Dave?
Oh yeah, where's Dave? Yeah, it's all going around the stand. It was quite amazing. Yeah, it's special, and it's on the journey that my son undertook, and obviously didn't quite make it. But that's why I'm there. That's why a lot of people are there as well. So
yeah,
it's
very
special.
poignant time, isn't it? All the details on Combat to Coffee, social pages, website, all of that kind of stuff.
Yep, Mark, social pages,
Yep.
Combat to Coffee, just get it out there. The whole month of November, we're going to plug this daily. And please support us, because you'll be supporting everyone in the community.
Brilliant. Nigel,
Thank
everybody,
you.
give him a big round of applause. Well done, Nigel. Also had a word from the ITFC fans supporting food banks. They will be collecting on Saturday. They'll be in the fan zone and they'll be opposite Planet Blue. They'll be collecting non-perishable food, warm clothes, toiletries, and also taking your cash. And it will go, I think, to find families in need. So if you're going to the game on Saturday, 12 till 2, the ITFC fans supporting food banks will be collecting there as well. Right, it's time now for our Table Football Challenge, sponsored by Fred Olsen Logistics. So, Sarge, this is your big moment. I don't know if you're a big fan of table football or not, but
Been
you're
a
going to
while.
give it a go.
Been a
Okay.
while.
It's Terry and Russell versus Sarge. Now, Paul, you have the option of taking somebody from the capacity crowd to help. Would you like some support? Yeah. Who wants to volunteer?
Sarge, I can't join you. I'm top of the leaderboard. I can't jeopardise
Nigel, do you want to come on?
trophy.
Come on, Nigel. Nigel. Okay. So basically, you've got 60 seconds to score as many goals as you can past our two England defenders.
He's cheating already.
I'll do my best. On the whistle, here we go. Oh dear. It's 1-0 to Terry and Russell already. It's how many goals you can score against them. So still 1-0 at the moment. A lot of defending going on from Nigel from Combat to Coffee. Russell's up front today. Good strike from Russell. Combat to Coffee fighting back, and Paul Goddard fighting back. Come on, Paul, you're the striker here. Bang him in.
I told you my legs were gone.
Is that 2-0? 2-0. Oh, my goodness. Still 2-0. See if we can get you off, at least get one. Come on, we're going to keep going until you get a goal. Come on. Keep going. Nearly there. It's a good keeper. Nearly there. Come on. I'm going to give you a bit of extra time.
He's had his coffee before.
Extra time. Come on, Nigel. Come on, Sarge. Come on. No. Oh. 2-0 to Butcher and Osman. Well done, Nigel. Well done, Sarge. A good go. Chambo's still in the lead. 5. How did you do 5?
Caught them cold, didn't I?
Well, I mean, it was the first game of the season, wasn't it? So
They went straight to the pub after and just
Yeah.
stayed there until they got the hang of it.
good stuff. Right, time for On This Day in History. Ipswich Town On This Day in History, sponsored by Fred Olsen Logistics.
Right, on this day in history, from Dan Botton's book.
Is this better than last week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, last week was not a good week. Wednesday, the 16th of October. I should have read this last week, by the way. A group of gentlemen gathered at Ipswich Town Hall on a rainy evening to form a football club. And the question last week was,
What year were we founded?
After a lengthy debate, Ipswich Association Football Club was born. 100 years later, the FA Cup would be in the club's trophy room. Tuesday, the 16th of October 2007. Billy Clark, Owen Garvin and Town loanee Mark Noble all played as England's under-23s beat Republic of Ireland under-21s 3-0 in Cork. On Wednesday, the 17th of October, just one more, 1979, and this was a strange one. Bottom of the table Town had some respite, defeating New Zealand 1-0 at Portman Road in a friendly.
New Zealand?
We had a friendly in October against New Zealand. Could you
Did Tommy
believe
Smith play in that one?
it? He could well have done, yeah.
He's been playing
Yeah.
forever.
He was the mascot. I think.
However, Arnold Muren picked up a bad injury and was to remain sidelined for months. And that was a busy season as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to October, playing week in, week out, and we slip in a friendly against New Zealand.
As you do. Yeah.
There was a crowd there,
As you do.
about 10 people.
It's a strange one.
It's not a money-making thing, is it?
No.
And that is all that happened on this day and the day after, thanks to Dan Botton.
Excellent. Was anybody there at that match? Get in
No.
touch if you were. If you were one of the crowd
me and
attendants.
Russell were. We were
Well, you
there.
two,
Yeah, we were there, yeah.
Ipswich Town women continue their fantastic season, 5-1 at Exeter. So I think they deserve a big round of applause. Well done, the women. Fantastic. And it's time for this week's Man v Fat results at Goals and Witton Sports Centre. And the lads have lost just over a stone between them this week. And they include a couple of super milestones. Gary Nightingale hit his 5% loss, but the big news of the week was Danny Netzel losing 20%, 2.5 stone in weight. And Travis Simmons hitting his 25%, which is 5.5 stone that he's lost since their time playing Man v Fat football. Subscribers may have seen an article in the local papers this week where Reno Skalko has lost 8 stone playing Man v Fat football. So it's an incredible thing. This week's results: Ivory Toast 8, the Red Cat Funts 13. The Red Hot Chubby Fellas 5, Galatasaray 10. The Wickham Waddlers 7, Borussia München Flapjack 8. Barely Athletic 13, L'Argentina 8. And they all say best wishes to town on Saturday. We're almost out of time. Sarge, been lovely to have you on the show. I mean, it's been
nice coming
really
here.
great to
Been
get
nice.
your thoughts on town. And do you think they're going to do enough to stay up?
Whew, that's a long question to be answered. That is. I think they've. If Kieran can do what he's done in the last few years with his team of people, I think the players have got to improve. I think they've got to get a solidness about them. There's far too many mistakes at the moment, but I think Kieran's done it over the last few years, and I think he can do it again. Will there be 3 worst teams in the league? But at the moment we're playing 6-pointers, aren't we? Maybe Everton's maybe a 5-point game, maybe. Whereas West Ham was a 6-pointer, and we didn't go well. But yeah, I think they can stay up, but it's going to be tough.
Well, Mark Ashton was here last week, and he was saying that he hinted they'll be doing some stuff in January, so they're obviously still looking for players, I would think. What do you think, Chambo?
Yeah, I agree with Sarge. I think they have got to improve. I studied the goals that they conceded at West Ham, and I do think they are things that they haven't done, and it was uncharacteristic in the way they conceded the goals. They didn't get behind the ball quick enough. They didn't regroup. We had people sort of not doubling up in wide areas, just sort of allowing crosses to come in. And
they'll have worked on that.
And
since then, haven't they?
100%, he doesn't miss a trick, so that'll be almost like a wake-up call for them. Look, you can't do this at League One level, Championship level, especially not Premier League level, but I've got no doubt they will give themselves the best possible chance, but it is literally going to be week to week now.
Yeah. What do you think, boys? Same sort of thing?
Well, I think, I agree with what the guys are saying, but I think his biggest problem is going to be finding the combination of players that play alongside each other. Who's your best number 10, who's the best down the right-hand side, playing in front of which right back. Who's going to play? Is Broadhead going to come back in and play on the left-hand side? Is Amari better inside or on the outside? And there's a lot of combinations there that you've got to have a look at somewhere down the line, but not just on the training ground, but on the battlefield really. But first and foremost, you've got to lock things down in the back a bit better.
Butch?
Well, I mean, losing 4-1 to Manchester City, you can understand that because they have the power and the ability. But losing 4-1 to West Ham, you can't understand that. And I think that'll be a big slap in the face, as Chambo was saying. I think that the players will react to that. Whenever we lost 4-1, that was, Bobby and 2 Bobbies went ballistic. So we knew we had to be better, and we otherwise we're out of the team. And it was awful for us personally. But I think that they have that capacity, and it's a good test of their character and strength to come back from that. And I think they will come back fighting, because that's what they do. They have a belief that they can do well, and I don't have any doubt that they will survive, to be honest.
Okay. Well, we're out of time. Thanks ever so much. Please, Capacity Crowd, give our legends a round of applause. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe, please. Makes all the difference to the channel. We're on Suffolk Sound, we're on podcast and on YouTube these days. That's it for this week. We'll be back next week on Saturday. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the town will get that first win of the season. Couple of words to finish up with, everybody. Blue Army! 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 This has been a Life's a Pitch TV production. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lakens, All About Hearing, Forward Floors, Ginger Pickle, Fred Olsen Logistics, The Dove, Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, Venue 16, The Hudson Group, Come Hither Design, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and Suffolk Sound. Our charities this year: Cancer Support Suffolk and the Ipswich Town Community Foundation.